better consumption, easy digestion, better nutrition, and a very good and safe life. My grandfather would always say, be careful of what you take because when it goes, it will never come back. With this, ladies and gentlemen, my dear viewers, welcome to another episode of your favorite program, The Daily Trend Francophone Edition, season finale, where we'll be discussing and tackling crucial issues. And today, of course, I've got company. Mr. How are you?
I'm good.
You're looking good today.
Yeah, thank you.
And you?
I'm good. I'm pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, so before I start, I want to share something with you guys. I have this friend that is like a sister to me. I caught her eating something, biscuit or chips, something like that. So I knew she didn't eat before leaving. So when I came back, I saw her at home and I was like, so what did you have for the day? And she was like, oh, I've eaten already. But I know very well that she didn't like, I know she wouldn't eat something. Yes. Yeah. So I asked her and she was like, I've eaten for the day. What did you eat? She told me she ate, she had a whole lot of things and she was satisfied. She was satiated. She ate biscuit. She started enumerating things like biscuit, hamburger, chips. And I was like, and you thought you've eaten? Like, am I right for grounding her?
Yeah, actually, before tackling that, what is really food? Food is something that people can eat in order to keep them alive and, of course, in healthy. So what she's actually eating, I can say this is not food. Because biscuit, talking about biscuit, is not food.
Sugar thing.
Yeah, this is sugar. Yeah. So food is something that if those biscuits, if you finish eating, for the dessert, that you can take it.
Yeah, like dessert.
Yeah, this is not actually food. Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
I can also contribute to say, first of all, define food as he said it right now. Any nutrient-rich material consumed or absorbed by human, animal, or plant in order to sustain life and growth.
Life and growth.
Yeah.
That is very important and it's very interesting. Life and growth, dear viewers. On this, I can tell you that our topic for discussion today is food security, sovereignty, and the youth contribution. And on that, I would like us to tackle what food security or food sovereignty means, actually.
Okay, for that I can say, based on the 1996 World Food Summit, food security can be defined as when all people at the all time have physical and economical access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preference for an active and healthy life.
Yeah, I can define food security as any food that every human being can take, and that particular food cannot harm them.
If
you take something and it doesn't harm you, your food is secured. This is what we can call by food security.
Okay, so that means I would, I don't know if my friend is watching me right here, right now, and I would like to tell her that what you were eating that day is not good food. It's not good food because a good food should improve your health, keep you okay to sustain growth. For example, this food we have today, most of them, people know very well that they are not based on natural substances, like from raw, healthy raw materials. We now hear of chemicals, for example, fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, that do not enhance the growth of safe food.
Of course.
Like we can have food in large amount, in large quantity, like he said, when people have access to quantity of food, enough quantity of food. But are these food, are they safe for consumption? That's the question, actually.
Yeah, talking about food security, we should jot down 4 things, which is first, availability. So availability means what? If people, that particular food that people want are available for them, right? So if that food is available for you, and then second, you have access to that food, that one we can talk about access. Third, we have consumption or utilization. If you know how to consume or utilize that particular food, because some food, if you don't know how to cook it, my brother,
yeah,
you'll be going to toilets every 2 seconds,
Yeah.
because the utilization is very, very important when it comes to food security. And lastly, we have the stability.
Yeah.
If you eat that particular food and you don't feel stable,
you don't feel okay.
yeah, you are not okay with us, we cannot talk about food security. Yeah. These are the 4 things that we should jot down when it comes to food security.
That brings me to the idea of we should be careful and watchful of this new food we have today and how we consume them, because there are some food that we don't even know where they're coming from, but we even like eating them more than the natural food that we have today.
Local consumption.
And that brings me to what he said about stability. When you eat this kind of food and you don't feel okay in yourself, that also means that you should like be watching your health and listen to your body, actually, what
Yes.
your body tells you. When you eat something, you get troubled stomach, then you should know that maybe this food is not good for
It's not
you.
good for your
Yeah,
health.
it's not in concordance with
Your health.
What
yeah,
your
your
body
health.
needs, actually.
Yes. This is also if you go and buy something and then you eat that particular thing and then you feel yourself, okay, I'm not okay with this food, then you should ban that particular thing. Okay, I'm not going to eat this thing anymore because it doesn't provide me with the security that I need. This is not healthy for
She said it right now about burger and all, so we should normally know that when taking all those things, it's like we are not guaranteed the good health. So we should normally
putting our health in danger.
Yes.
And so it means that we should give importance to our local consumption and then feel free in it and need it, and you'll be you'll be okay, right?
Yeah, that brings me to this. We have lots of diseases today that are derived from this new food that we eat, and we neglect our local foods because we can see that if we should study how things are going right now with food consumption, we would see that how people get sick, how people die of certain diseases, certain sicknesses,
just because
compared to our forefathers' time in the ancient days, in their era, we can see that actually it has really increased. Death rate has increased due to bad food consumption.
And I can add also saying that it's just due to the way of copying white men, like we want to eat everything we see, like
because every
my
country has its own food.
Hamburger, actually.
Every country has its own food. So majority of we Africans, we say that okay, this is the food that white people are eating, so I would like to taste it. And then in the instances whereby you taste that particular food, and say, oh, this is very, good, and then you continue in the same line, following that particular food, and at the end of the day, that particular food is not providing you with the health that of course you need, your body need. This is what we can call about food insecurity, because particularly people are indulging themselves in food insecurity.
Briefly, we should normally know that when talking about food insecurity, it's like something that you eat which is not good for your body or for your organism.
You don't feel insecurity.
Or we can say when there is shortage of good food in the country, when the country does not have absolute food, enough quantity of food for the citizens to consume, then we can say this country is dealing with food insecurity.
So it just mean like we're jumping on the causes of food insecurity, right? So it might also depend on the income of
this country.
The country. So
or the standard of living. When the standard of living is very high, people find it difficult to get access to food. And that brings us to availability and access. So
access to food, right.
So if the food is not available and they don't have access to it, they are going to deal with food insecurity. And that particular country also will face the youths in that particular, all the citizens in that particular country will suffer from food.
Or undernutrition.
Undernutrition.
Exactly.
Because that particular food that they are eating is not providing them,
enough. For example, in a friend's school, you would see children that are in kindergarten, for example, normally have these women that provide them with food at the canteen during break times and all other times. They normally pay for some little tickets like this before they get access to food. And I realized one day that they really don't have they don't have a proper menu. For example, today they eat rice, tomorrow they can eat rice. They can eat rice like for three times
in a week before.
So how do you expect these children that are growing to be in good health? Because of course the youth are the future of tomorrow. These children that are growing to become youths of the country, that are going to form this working population.
Of course.
So how are they going to be in good health, in sound health, and even have the energy to work towards the development of the country if there is no food security in this country?
And also that brings me to where some people, they are actually selling, but they are not covering, they are not protecting what they are selling.
They are not caring.
Yeah, they are not caring about what they are selling. So you can go to buy something, and then you realize that, that flies are
perching on the food.
Yeah, perching on the food, and you not feel like, oh, you can go and then say I'm no more buying this thing because
you see
because
the flies on it.
Yeah, it's not safe for
you.
Yes,
it might be like a disease or everything.
Yes, because flies perching on this kind of flies, or for example, chicha fly can also.
When you take the example of women selling at university, but I can say now it's a little bit better than
before.
The last time.
So that brings us to another point. Climate change has also been something that is really a threat to food security of a country. For example, in a sector where we have to grow rice, because rice needs a lot of water to grow. And in that region, we don't have enough rate of rainfall.
Yes.
How do we expect the cultivation of rice in that part of the region? I don't think that's really possible, because we know there are certain countries that deal with abnormality when it comes to climate change. For example, we can have the hot season, for example, the dry season for maybe 6 months, which is quite abnormal.
In Togo,
compared to other countries that have stable climate condition or weather condition. We also have economic slowdown. For example, this COVID-19 that came and ravaged and
that
scattered
COVID-19
stuff. We wouldn't have a better economy. You can see people stay at home. There's confinement and all of these stuffs. People wouldn't have enough
of money,
income. When we talk about income,
money to buy.
Because some people lose
to purchase
their job also.
Yes, some people lose their job, and I could also say, but actually, he also brought another form of work. For example, working online.
Yeah, online work.
Privilege the youths that like to always stay on their computers and work from home.
Yeah.
We also have the Russian war, the conflict, the
Ukrainian war ahead going.
Yes.
I can go a little bit back to the pandemic where you were saying, I can say the benefit or the contribution of that, the use of the local local foods,
consumption,
including traditional herb and medical remedy, have gained. Help the society.
Actually, that helps us to see the importance of our local foods
instead of going to the pharmacy and
also local herbs, because there are lots of people who don't like local. All they want is medicine. But I forgot that some of these medicines are also made from herbs, actually, and these herbs or plants are also cultivated in the farm. That brings us to the importance of agriculture in the country. The agricultural sector of a country.
Because agriculture is very, very paramount when it comes to.
When we're talking about food.
And I can even add something concerning our country. In Togo, at least 30% of the population is employed in agriculture
sector.
Which contributes approximately to
42% of the GDP, gross domestic product.
That's what I think.
That brings me, talking about gross domestic product, that brings me to South Africa. Do you people know that South Africa is the first country that is that has a higher rate of food security in the whole of Africa in 2022? In 2022, it's also the second largest economy, continent with the second largest economy, and also we have $480 billion of GDP based on the agricultural sector. So we can see that if South Africa is rich today, it's due to agriculture. So those are youths that think that agriculture
is
doesn't pay.
Because actually I can say agriculture is the backbone of majority of countries' economy. Because they base themselves on agriculture.
Even talking about agriculture, when we're talking about food, the first thing that we should have in mind, like you need to go to farm before. And and before you get those products
Of
that
course.
people might be using in the country. So it means that in lack of the agriculture, you won't have
That
any
particular food, for
local
example.
consumption
Yeah.
in the country.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this kind of situation, what can we do to ensure food sovereignty in our country? What do you think we can do?
Food sovereignty, I think it has to do with policy. Because food sovereignty is the right of people to healthy and culturally appropriate food produced through ecologically and sustainable method, and their right to define their own food and agriculture system. So basically, what do I mean by food sovereignty? So food sovereignty is when people define their, say that, okay, this is what we are going to be eating.
Certain people
Planning.
living
Yeah.
in this country, we opt for this kind
Of
of
course.
food or agricultural system for our country.
Yeah, this is the policy. And we can see the lack of that particular policy in majority of Africa
African
country,
countries.
not to say Togo, for example.
Yeah.
Because if that policy is on point, we shouldn't suffer from food sovereignty.
So if I can get you, I can get your point. You wanted to say they should normally have some certain plan of agriculture, right?
Yes,
They should have
Yes.
plans.
of course.
Based on how food are processed, food are being produced, what we cultivate in this part of the country, how we do it, and the rights that we have to these foods that are being cultivated, that are being produced
Yes.
through essentially sustainable methods,
Okay.
safe methods actually. So that helps us to know that we need to have good food. For example, if the region provides the citizen with good food, then I think that they would opt for better food. There wouldn't
course.
be a high level or high rates of youths, for
Yeah,
example, that
yeah.
are opting for these junk foods instead of cherishing the local and healthy food that they have today.
Yeah, of course. This is, what we are dealing today. But I'm not cutting you, but
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
say something to our lovely viewers. Yeah, dear viewers, as you can notice, the conversation is a little bit spicy. I'm not cutting your appetite, but we'll go for a quick break. When we'll be back, you'll hear from us. Welcome back from the break. So if you are just turning in, we are discussing about food security and food sovereignty. And then we illustrate something about the causes, what cause food insecurity. Yeah, so we are now going to deal with the rest. So I'll give the floor to my co-host to continue the discussion. Yeah.
Okay, so back on food sovereignty. So if these people have the right to good food, normally they should be opting for what can better their health,
Yeah, of
course.
what can give them a safe nutrition. And that would even help us not to have higher rates of people that are sick due to bad consumption or misconsumption
Of course.
better food or healthy food today. So does that mean that people that are consuming this junk food all in the name of it gives you better appetite, it saves time? For example, you want to go to work and you don't have time to prepare something good and healthy to eat, you can just grab a snack or this kind of food.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Just to
that
be-
particular food are causing disease, a lot of diseases to
Yeah, just like
many
we said
people.
before.
Like
yeah,
sugar things.
the genetically modified food and junk food, for example, are causing obesity
Yeah.
for some people.
Yeah, even
Diabetes.
leukemia, because when you don't eat good, because everything we eat, actually the blood also has to take its part,
Yeah.
take nutrient that can produce
Proteins.
energy and
Yeah.
other nutrient for you.
Yeah.
So if the blood is taking something that is not good for your body, it contaminates the blood, and that is why people even have cancer today,
Cancer and
leukemia,
diabetes.
and also diabetes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have
A
diabetes,
high rate of sugar
course.
and other things.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, so if you are consuming bad and that is leading you to something like you are not healthy.
Yeah.
So instead of going in the same direction, shouldn't you, for example, stop what you are eating and then you are noticing that, okay, this is bringing me to,
or it's dangerous for your
it's
your
dangerous
health.
for my health.
Your health,
So I should cut it off.
You
Yeah,
better
because
come back to
even when people don't eat better, and for example they become like they are suffering from obesity, for example, and now they go to the gym, the gym master, don't make fun of them. The gym master always makes sure that they give them another plan that is different from what they eat, another plan of menu, and say
that
follow this kind of food that would help them to become better and lose weight, and they'll say follow this kind of food, eat this, don't eat this. And that is why today we even have the Togolese government that is promoting eating local food, what they call consommé local. We have a day for that. Actually, every October, they normally go in for that event, local consumption. So even if the government doesn't think it's a good thing, they wouldn't be promoting that kind of initiatives.
It's like, I think for that is contributing to help youth or the population to be in good health. So normally that's what we lost in our mind, that we should normally care our local consumption.
Yeah, we should value it.
And for a part of that, it will help us to be in good health.
Exactly.
Because if something is consumed locally, you know that, okay, this is my country.
Like as you said earlier on, that you know how it was cooked.
Exactly.
You know everything that was used, everything that they use for that special food before you consume it.
You know the ingredients.
Yes, that's it.
So we would also like to say that for us to remedy another this kind of issue, food insecurity, and also improve tackling climate change. For example, we talk about climate change being a problem, being a threat to food security. So why not plead or beseech the government to put in strategies in place and experts that can also do some overview and look into this climate change affair.
Okay, can I go beyond saying that unemployment also can be included on this situation?
Yeah, explain for that to us. That's interesting.
Okay, so talking about unemployment, for instance, I think there's lack of job that are not helping you.
Because we talk about
the money.
Food security. Access. So if you don't have money, you cannot have access to it. That is where the problem of the issue of unemployment comes in.
Can be
you get it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people, we should also encourage education and literacy, because if we know what these things are made of, we would know what to eat and what not to eat. And also we should also look into the integration of water management. For example, like I give the example of water, if we do not manage our water system properly, we wouldn't have enough. Or even if we don't, we should not look into the climate change affair. Like we would not have enough water to cultivate what we want to do. That would also be a disadvantage for the agricultural sector, because in agriculture, in planting, forestry, rearing animals, even animals need to drink water. So we should look into integration of water and nutrient management. We should also focus on small farmers. That brings me to the initiative that was promoted in Togo recently that they call Agri Awards. You would see that the government is trying to hand in hand with private corporations to put in place this initiative that helps the youth to see the importance of agriculture and also value the local products we have today. That's why they were rewarding these young farmers. So if we should encourage these people, I think they would do more. They would do more in the sector and also ensure a safe kind of a policy or agricultural system.
And also, if agriculture was not good at all, we won't have school for agriculture. Because I will talk about for example.
Agriculture today.
Because majority of youth today focuses on white collar job. Okay, I want to wear tie, wear dress, and be in for example, on my computer and work.
Just like you wanted to be under someone and get a mountain salary at the end of the month.
So when we are talking about,
because they always say the farm work are so difficult. So
this is very, very difficult.
Want to be under the sun.
They see it as a major job. They did not value
people did not consider
you
that job.
Didn't doesn't value agriculture.
Exactly.
So let me shock you with a testimony from Mrs. Nishei Mohammed, mother of 8 children living in Baku region in Somalia. She confirmed that, I quote, "Our livelihood was mainly dependent on farming." This is a woman that feed her family. She's to be encouraged, actually. A woman that feed her family through agriculture. That is through farming. That is what she do for a living, actually. And she's also able to take care of her 8 children through this means. 8 children. So, and she said, but we have been impacted in recent years by bad harvest and locust infestation. We've been actually getting assistance for some time, and then the money I use it to purchase food, clothing, and pay school fees for my children. So this should tell us that also, I think, food security, can we balance food security, food policy, and human right together? Because since we say food sovereignty is also the right that people, people have
a right
to correct and appropriate food. Can we also balance these 3 or 2 things?
Yeah, we
together?
can. Food sovereignty can be included in human rights, because as human, every citizen has their rights to define their agricultural policy.
Yes.
So we can include food sovereignty in the human right, for example.
Have their contribution.
So sovereignty also focused primarily on agriculture, for example, livestock, forestry, and fishery. And it also prefer organic and mainly use of concepts of agroecology. That should tell us another value for agriculture. Agriculture is so important. And should I also shock you by telling you that aside Aliko Dangote from Nigeria, Africa's richest man in 2022 is a farmer in the agricultural sector.
Exactly.
And he is the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. He owns a farm that is located at Ota, Ogun State, one of the multi-billionaire dollar enterprise operating since 1979. So that man has been gaining a lot of money. So our youth that think that agricultural sector is poor, it doesn't pay, or it doesn't suit an educated person, I think they're wrong.
Through this, we can see that the agriculture has its importance in this situation.
We can also talk about sensitization.
Of the youths.
Of the youths. Sensitize youth, saying that, okay, this is what we have in status quo. This is what is really happening. So if we didn't take into initiative into account what is happening nowadays, the problem or the issue will get out of hand.
I remember what my father always tell me in the village. He say, when you go to the university and you see things are not going well, better come back to the village, then you go to the farm and work hard. And I think
get something.
He even promised to me that we gain money. It's not only going to school
that
before you get
rich.
Before you be rich, but when you go to the farm also you plant things, and after all you just wait for a little bit season. After some month or I can say some month, then you start coming out with your project and sell them and get an income that will help you to survive.
Not only school pays, actually.
That's what I can say.
So another point, but actually it's an information from India. We can see that before people normally consider India as one country, or it's a big country. It's a country that has a lot of people living in it, like higher population compared to Africa too. People normally think that some citizens are they don't have good food, actually, because when people get to explore this kind of parts, they have this part of India when you don't see people that are in good health. When people are aiming at the government, what they can do, go to this part of the countries that they don't have better conditions, better standard of living. But actually they should have noticed that actually India have improved during the years. India opted for a better food policy, and through increasing productivity by growing high-yielding varieties, that opting for better food policy, it also made India to be food secure. India's food grain production increased from 50.82 million tons in 1950 to 1951 to 260 million tons at present. That is a very massive progress.
Of course.
because let us say that India has also recognized that it is important to look into food affairs. What do my citizens, what do they consume? What do they have as food? This region, what do they eat? This part of the country, what do they consume as food? How what is the quality of the food they eat, and what is also the quantity of the food they have in stock?
Is it good for their health or not?
Is it good for their health or not?
Majority of citizens focus themselves more on the quantity rather than the quality.
Exactly.
But this should be
we should have to balance.
We should focus on the quality instead of the quantity.
So when we go back a little bit to the definition, as we gave the definition of food, we should normally notice that it helping us to be in good health and grow.
That should also push us.
So it means that in it we have some nutritions that should help us to grow, right?
Of course.
In good health. So we shouldn't be eat quantitatively, but also the quality depends.
The quality depends.
Yeah.
Very important. So I think aside all what we have said concerning the solutions, permit me to say, to this problem we have in hand, what can our youth do apart from valuing agriculture? Actually, when we talk about agriculture, it's a very broad topic. It's a very broad topic that some people don't have the time to look into. What else can our youth do to favor the condition of food security and food sovereignty in a country?
Yeah, all the consequences that we just talked about. Okay, if you are going through food insecurity, these are the consequences. I think our youth should base themselves on the consequences and say that, okay, if that particular food will provide me, will harm me, let me just do away with that particular food and focus myself on another food that will provide me a healthy life.
I could better say we should be more focused on the local consumption.
Yeah, local consumption also.
Being, like forget about
the imported
the imported of the abroad food instead of carrying
the junk food especially.
That's what I can say, like burger and all. And I remember also something that came out right now when it goes around Agua. They're talking about Monsieur T or something like that. People are rounding. Every day, forgetting that they have their own food, like something that can cook with their local products.
Whilst
come out with a good food and
whilst even with the degree of education, they don't know what Mesote is made of, but they run towards it. So that should also help us to be smart about what we take, what we eat, what we consume every day, the quantity and the quality. Because even if we don't try to look into the importance of food security, we should at least be aware that food security improves income. And these people, these poor people that are jobless, at least if they should look into the agricultural sector, they can find something to do. And that would also help the working class population.
As we said earlier on, that it's not only going to school before you becoming rich. So they have quickly to run back to their village and start going to farm and work hard. And I think
those people who are throwing food, that very pains me because I have a friend of mine that the girl is actually hungry. So she went to school, they cooked. So in the instances whereby that girl left school to her aunt threw the food away at her arrival. You see? So those people who are doing that should also focus themselves on that and others.
So our youth should also decrease the way they waste food, because someone who is in need, you should better give them. If not, when you waste something you can actually give to someone to save a life, that can also contribute to food insecurity because it would increase the rate of food shortage in the country. So I don't know if you have something to tell our viewers before we go on.
Yeah, dear viewers, so we should, as much as possible, focus on everything that we can take, and then we maintain our human body, our organism in good health. And also local consumption is very, very paramount when it comes to food security.
And I think also I can add something, saying giving more people benefit through nutrition assisted programs and increasing benefit amounts and addressing unemployment, any help reduce food insecurity and anger
So
in
we should
our
be
societies.
watchful. We should be watchful of what we eat. We should opt for better and appropriate food that can respond to our body's need for nutrients. And with this brings us to the end of today's program. Definitely not the end. Watch us on New World TV, the Daily Trend Francophone Edition season finale. New World TV airs every Friday at 12 p.m. and 12:15 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. with a repeat on every Sunday at 7:15 p.m. Also on our social media handles, you can watch us or join us on YouTube, The Daily Trend, playlist on New World TV channel, or on Facebook, The Daily Trend at Daily Trend TDT.